For Jet fans, if we're interested in a quarterback, unless you're some freak that thinks Justin Fields is the answer, you might find today's game interesting. We got Dante Moore, who's caught on and he's just on fire lately, playing for Oregon, and they're just excited because their mother's home. You're excited because mommy's home, and they're playing Indiana, who has a quarterback a lot of us really like and are excited about. His name is Fernando Mendoza, and right now Oregon has the ball. It's 3rd and 11, so we're going to get to see Dante Moore against a very good defense. He throws a little flat screen pass here, and the wide receiver makes a great play and gets the first down. Now I want to say this is why we can't just look at box scores. You can't just look at box scores because, and I'm not putting Dante Moore down at all. He made the play that was called. He threw up a fine little 8-yard, out little behind the line of scrimmage pass. He gave his player a chance to do what his players do. That is not a negative, but also the box score might look at it as a big 3rd down, 12-yard completion, and you have to understand that any college quarterback in America could have made that exact play. And that's not an insult. I'm just pointing that out. Handoff. So not a bad play. It's not a critique at all on the player. Not criticizing Dante Moore. He did his job. He literally ran the play he was told to run. I'm just saying we're looking for a first round, to possibly use a top 5 pick in the draft on a quarterback. And we're going to have a little bit more evidence, and right, I mean, if we're going to feel confident taking a quarterback, like we want to see a little bit more. So here's 2nd and 5. He's in the pocket, nice clean pocket. He does a check down to probably is, I don't know if it's a receiver or running back. Number 5 is probably a wide receiver. It was more of a check down, a little 5-yard floater in front of him. Again, he definitely went at least to his second progression. It's not like I see his eyes moving around the field. That's a good thing, but it was a check down, so we can't go crazy. We can't judge him either way, good or bad. He had a lot of time. He did what he was supposed to do again. So what we know is he's not a wreck. He seems to be in control of what he's doing. There were some positives there. Nothing NFL draftable yet, though, to make you say, oh, my God, we got to draft him. He does a little draw play, and he doesn't get it. So that was a play, design play, not really on him. He definitely ran the play that was called for him. The blocking was not there. Indiana has a good defense. They were able to get through and penetrate, and they stopped them. So, yeah, I don't know. There was really no place for him to go. I'm not going to criticize him as a runner, and there's no critique on that play whatsoever. Again, just the guy doing what he was asked to do. Looks like they're going to go for it on 4th and 1 from the 46-yard line. Their own 46. So it's a big play coming up right now. They snap it. Gives it to the running back who gets stopped. Indiana ball. Indiana will start at their own 46-yard line with the football. Got to question that call. Again, if you have who's soon to be the future number 1 pick for the NFL, I kind of want to put the ball in the quarterback's hands. So I'm not a huge fan of that call. But again, you can't blame the quarterback. So now you have a drive where they lost the ball on downs. I don't see anything to critique negatively towards this quarterback. There's also nothing he did that makes me say, oh my God, this is the guy, we got to draft him either. So it's just kind of a neutral type drive from Dante Moore. Nothing bad, nothing good. No reason to even change. Maybe not a reason to change your opinion. I will say that if I notice that he gets 75, 80% of his yards and most of his plays are just checkdowns and little drawn up plays like that, that's going to affect my ability to rank him. Like, I'm not going to sit there and put my name on a guy that we should use him in the first round, with a top 10 pick or a top 5 pick. If all we see is easy kind of plays, like little jump offs. I want to see this guy throwing downfield, pushing the ball downfield, timing patterns. I want to see touch. I want to see him throw the ball at different speeds. What's going on, Wildlife? So now we're going to get to see Mendoza. This is a guy where I feel that we have seen a little bit of those things, a little bit more. Now, to be fair, I've watched Mendoza a lot more than I've watched Dante Moore. So I'm not decided on Dante Moore. But Mendoza is a guy who already has my interest based on plays he's made, most of all, I got to say, under pressure. I've seen Mendoza make some pretty nice throws with guys in his face where he gets hit after. That's NFL measurable type plays, right? Because that's realistic to the NFL. Like in the NFL, you're going to be guys in your face. In the NFL, there are going to be times where you're releasing the ball knowing you're going to get hit. And we want to see evidence that, it's much better, especially if you're going to use a top 10 pick. You want to have evidence that you're drafting a player who could play in those conditions, especially when you're a Jets fan. I don't care how good our offensive line is right now. We know that this never really lasts for us. While if you say there are so many quarterbacks this year, Moogie is all over the place, won't be surprised if we trade out. We could definitely trade out. If Mendoza's on the board and we trade out, I might have to just become a New York Giants fan. Yeah, I don't know if my fandom could tolerate that. I'll wait and see. Maybe I'll have to wait and see. Like, in other words, if we traded out, didn't take Mendoza goes to a team like Miami and he's a stud and he's a franchise quarterback, I honestly would consider having to remove my Jets channel. I'll take away my Jets channel, change it to Giants Chaos. I will remove my tattoo. I can't survive that. Like, I can't survive trading out of a pick if there's a guy like Mendoza on the board staring us in the face. Like, I can't. I've already lived with not taking Dan Marino. Like, there's too many things we didn't do. Not taking Warren Sapp. There's too many decisions. I can't do it anymore. So anyway, here's Mendoza. Here's the snap. Fake handoff. Got a decent pocket, came under pressure, made a beautiful pass. And here's why it's beautiful, people. He threw it behind the receiver. Because there was nowhere for that receiver to go. Like, if he threw it ahead of him, that's where the defender was. So instead, he threw it to the inside on the sideline, so the receiver had to stop and come back and get it, which was the only place to throw that ball that you're going to get a completion. This is what I love about him. There's an instinct to this player. And a lot of people would say, that's a bad pass. He underthrew it. No, he didn't. He threw it to the one place that you could throw it. That was beautiful. I was for trading back to... I wasn't screaming they should do it, Fletch. What I was saying is, during last year, and everybody knows me, it's all on video, it's all captured, so I have no reason to lie. You could check me. You can actually go back and check my videos. I always said, if the Jets trade back to 20, get an extra second-round pick, a fourth-round pick, a third-round pick, get a nice haul, and take Jackson Dart, I'm okay with it. And I said, if the Jets take Membu, I'm okay with it. And I said, if the Jets take Warren, I'm okay with it. So I was a guy who wasn't super passionate about any move that we made. I definitely wasn't dead against Dart. I definitely thought Dart was going to need more time. And he might need more time. I mean, you can't base Dart on that one game. Don't forget he had the terrible game against the Saints. So we don't know who he is completely yet. I thought Dart would take more time. I thought he was going to need at least a year to develop, work on his mechanics, get used to an NFL pro styles, whatever. If I had the choice now, I would obviously go back in time and make that, if there was a trade partner, I would trade back and take Dart. I would even take Dart at 7 based on what I've seen. Now I'd be willing to take the risk. If I go back in time, knowing what I know now, I would take Dart at 7. I wouldn't even bother trading back. So that's where I stand on Dart. But I definitely was not going to be angry if the Jets traded back and took Dart. He was the one quarterback that, I was okay taking. I did not like Cam Ward. Everybody knows I was dead against Cam Ward. I thought he was terrible in the sense that he was 2 seconds and that guy gave up on every play. And the only time he completed passes when he gave up on the play and a receiver was open right in front of him. I said, that's never going to work in the NFL, and it's not working in the NFL. And then Shadir Sanders holds on to the ball for 5 minutes. So to me, there was no chance I was taking Shadir Sanders. So Dart was the only draftable quarterback in the first round, in my opinion. I am not an expert, though. I'm not saying that to prove that I know what I'm talking about with quarterback, Fletch. As a matter of fact, Fletch, I will be the first one to say it's a freaking crapshoot. Anybody who tells you they know for a fact a quarterback is a bust or a quarterback is a star, don't trust them. Because the pros, the professional scouts, everybody, fans, we've been getting it wrong forever. Don't forget, every Buffalo Bills fan will tell you, best quarterback, Josh Hall, best, Josh Allen, best quarterback ever, right? When the Bills traded up and drafted Josh Allen, did you see the reaction of the Bills fans? We just don't know, right? We don't know. But we're going to chart, we're going to prospect, we're going to look, we're going to see what they got. I might look at, I'm going to watch some LSU. I'm not the big, here's what I like about Noose. I like him I think he really is in control of the game. He looks very calm in the huddle. He's a leader. He tells receivers where they should be. He's very, very in command. I don't know if he has the talent, though. I'm not saying he doesn't. I'm saying I don't know. He's a scary guy for me if we took him because there's some questionable throws that he makes a lot. There's things about him that concern me. What I like, though, about Noose is that I know he's a guy, he looks like a guy that won't be a complete mental case. Like, he looks like a guy that's calm, that could be in the huddle. He looks like a guy who could be a leader. If he shows that he can make all the different types of passes, if he shows to have the talent, I would love that pick. I think it's a great pick. I think Sellers is an incredibly high ceiling. I mean, I really think he could be a Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson type of quarterback. But I also acknowledge that Sellers could be a complete bust because he's got to prove, and he just needs more time. We haven't seen enough of him. What we need to see that in big games. This is what I need to see. I need to see in big games that Sellers can, in a big game against top defenses, could drop back and process. And if he could do that, if he could stay in the pocket and process and go through two progressions and throw to his second or third receiver or third option, that's when I'll start to feel good about Sellers. Great ceiling, though. Super high ceiling, super risky pick. I think he'd probably be better staying another year if he's not a senior, if he has the eligibility. So that's how I feel about Sellers. Mateer, I don't know well enough. I've got to do a lot of homework on Mateer. I wasn't ready for this, guys. I wasn't going to do any kind of prospecting for the draft until freaking January, February. But apparently, unfortunately, here we are. Clearly we need to solve this problem already. We need a franchise quarterback. Nothing against Fields. He's done what we asked him to do, but he's not the future. He's not the answer. We need a quarterback. We're going to have a top 5 pick because we're terrible. This is our year to get one. That's a good quarterback class. Not as good as we thought it was going to be, but still good enough. We have got to just get a franchise quarterback into this organization. You want to attract a good coach? Everyone's like, fire Glenn. For what? No one's coming here. You know what gets people here? A good quarterback. Every great coaching prospect that's highly pursued is going to choose the team that has a quarterback prospect or an established quarterback. Yeah, I don't know. Alar has great arm talent, J.E., but he's terribly inconsistent. Like, he's fallen off my radar even. He's just so bad. Like, anytime he plays a good defense, or anytime he's in a critical situation, he makes terrible, terrible decisions. Just awful, awful decisions. So I just don't trust him. I don't trust him. Yeah, Caleb got the Ben Johnson. Yeah, that's exactly. Ben Johnson went to the Bears because they had Caleb. That's why we need to get a quarterback. That's why, this nightmare of not having a quarterback's got to end. You want to bring in the real coach. You want to bring in the coach that everybody's pursuing. I like Klubnik coming into this year. I thought Klubnik was a potential top 5 pick in the draft. I thought he had a great game last year in the playoff against Texas, who has a very good pass defense. So Klubnik really stood out to me. He's been terrible this year. I don't know if it's the team, the coaching, or him. but he's a guy who's definitely dropped out of the radar for first rounds, I think. But day 2, day 3, like third round, fourth round, you take a guy like Klubnik or Drew Aller, if they were there, you wouldn't have no complaints about that. But if Mendoza is on the board when we pick, if Mendoza is on the board and we pick, and we don't take him, it's going to be very difficult for me. Unless we take a guy like Aller or Klubnik in the third round and they hit, then I'll say we're geniuses and brilliant, and I'll shut my mouth and let Moogs do his job. But my big thing is you gotta roll the dice. You know, if you're not going to take a quarterback, even if you take a quarterback with the 5th pick overall, 4th pick overall, I think you take another quarterback in the 4th or 5th rounds, if one of those kind of guys are there. Like I say, you do it again. I say you do what the Niners did with Brock Purdy, what Washington did with Kirk Cousins. I think that we're so desperate to finally solve this problem of quarterback that we need to do whatever it takes. Like, we need to literally do insurance policies. By the way, guys, Oregon, no good, nothing. Not a great pass here. Actually, the pass was in, it was a little bit off, the last pass on 3rd and 10 from Dante Moore. But I will say this. Dante Moore's instinct to throw the ball where he threw it in that area was the correct one. Again, he did the same thing that Mendoza did. He threw it to the inside where the receiver had a chance to get it and where the defender didn't have a chance to get it. Unfortunately, he was off a little bit on the pass. But his instincts of where he threw it, I think, were very good. I think he did a good job in that sense. So, yeah. But anyway, here we are. Now it is Indiana gets the ball, so Mendoza gets another chance to make a statement, to do something. And we'll see how that goes. My wife just asked me, is this really all day? No, it's not all day. I just wanted to have an excuse to talk about quarterbacks. Like and subscribe. Wild Wave. I don't know if you're a subscriber to the channel, Wild Wave. I don't know if you support my channel very often, Wild Wave. But if you could subscribe and like the video. I know you've never done that before for me, but I'm just asking now if you could subscribe to the channel and like my video. I'd really appreciate it, Wild Wave. It'd be a great thing for you to do. It's up to you, though. You don't have to. I know that it's hard to get you to watch people's videos. You know, you're very picky. You like green bean. I get it. I know that you're not a big fan of the channel or a big fan of mine. But I'm saying, now that you're here, if you do want to subscribe, you got... I'm totally messing around. What's she up to? What's she chewing on? What are you chewing on? You got a toy? Are you going to come up and give me some love? Okay. Oh, you're going to come up? Oh, you jealous, Klecko? This is Klecko. He's named after a football player that I used to like a lot when I was a kid. And that's Jolene. So it's Jolene Klecko. So, yeah. So we're at commercial right now. That's what I hate about watch parties when the game's not going on. I also stopped watching the game, which is not good. I think Frankie from Flatbush yelled at me that I need to start charting. I don't know what he's talking about charting. Not everybody is Frankie from Flatbush. I don't have a chart set up. I watch. You know what I mean? I watch. That's what I do. I don't chart. I watch. You know, but let me unsubscribe and resubscribe. It looks like there's a show called DMV. Honey, that's a show we have to watch, DMV. That should be really funny. That should just be a show that shows angry people on long lines.
Oh, like the DMV?
I think it just said DMV. I think it's a show about DMV, like the DMV. Like maybe it's just going to be people working in a DMV. That's a great concept. That's a really funny concept. I like that. Remember the Southwest reality show? That was great. Watching the Southwest employees deal with unhappy, disgruntled travelers. Like a guy like Green Bean comes up, hasn't had a shower in 3 days, long, disgusting, smelly beard, complaining about something, that his flight is delayed. Oh, what's going on there? Looks like they're fighting over the ball. Did we have a fight going on, guys? Are you fighting with your sister? Because she took the ball? Oh. Here we go again. Mm. Yeah, so, by the way, I was thinking of changing Jolene's name to Mendoza if we draft him. Like, come on, hi, Mendoza. You're cute. You're very cute, Mendoza. You're a good girl. Go play. Go play. Anyway, it's 2nd and 4 now. 2nd and 4. Looks like they may have gotten the first down. See, Wildwave would like to thank you for letting me watch the quarterbacks. So anyway, Mendoza looks like he's in good control of the game. He did that little thing where he stamps his foot. So he's really good at that. He handed the ball off, and then he turned and made a fake throw. I like that. Like he tries to contribute, like by faking out the defense. The Oregon Ducks are cheering really loud as a 3rd and 1. I think the fans want a stop right now. We're going to see what Mendoza does on 3rd and 1. Can he make a big play? It looks like a false start on the left side. No. Maybe they pulled him off sides. Nope, it's a false start. False start. Well, that's actually good for us because we're going to get to see passing play for sure now because now it'll be 3rd and 6. So I think Snowball will be really happy to get to see what Mendoza could do on 3rd and 6. Here we go. Let's see if Mendoza. Oh, by the way, it'd be interesting to see how. Like this is a good way to measure is Mendoza better than Drew Aller, right? Looks like he's gonna be sacked. Yep, sacked. He didn't have a lot of time. I don't put that on him. I don't put it on him. Looks like just like Green Bean, I'm behind though. So they're gonna have to punt. All right, guys. Maybe I'll come back in later. Let's give an overall reaction. Take care. Ciao.